This is a video response to the videos Atheist Religion Debunked by Creationism, and they both end with the line, lovely, atheists have to admit that their religion is being debunked time after time. And just seriously, I'm gonna start with what you're saying. Atheism is not a religion, period. It's by definition the absence of religious beliefs, and that doesn't make us evil. I know that's what you were thinking just there. We are living, breathing, feeling beings. We just don't believe the same things as you do. That's all. And another thing, the debate was about evolution versus creationism, not about theism or Christianity versus atheism. I know a lot of atheists are convinced that the theory of evolution is true, but it's not the same as atheism. They are not synonyms. I don't know why you people keep insisting on it. I guess it's easier to try to debunk atheism based on that. I don't know. Anyway, and yet another thing, calling the guy debating for evolution an atheist religious fanatic is about as ludicrous as calling my wonderful sweet pet cat a rabbit moose. You know, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense calling any atheist a religious fanatic, because it's just not a religion. It's not. I'd say if someone here is a religious fanatic, that would be you. But hey, I can't say that based on a single YouTube video. I bet you would though. I bet you'd have no problem calling me an ignorant asshole with no respect or reason, but hey, I'm glad I don't get offended easily. But I'm getting to the actual videos. I gotta say, this guy is a rare case of a somewhat intelligent person believing in creationism, and that was, by the way, a very intentional choice of words. I just wish his intellect wouldn't be that misguided. So this guy's saying that you've got to go from 0 genes and build up if you're gonna go from hydrogen to human, and that's an oversimplification. I trust most people who are interested in this subject have heard of the work done by Stanley Miller at the University of Chicago in the 1950s. He basically took chemicals and an energy source, which was electricity, and he created life. And although some creationists say that the experiment is invalid because he couldn't possibly have created the exact environment that was here at the time that life would have begun, he still got life where there was none. So that's proof of concept right there. And so yes, evolution has a plausible starting point, even though we don't know all the details yet. Also, the mitochondria were once separate organisms. You can't just say life went straight from nothing to already quite complex single-cell organisms. You know, by that account he reduced the number he presented, which was 397 to 6. He also mentioned that himself. And he's missing the fact that evolution isn't saying things just magically appeared. Even the first cells took ages to become cells. And as for DNA, it's not just somewhere where information is placed. He took the computer as an example, and how wonderfully generous of him. at that point, because what a computer essentially is parts going together and becoming more than they were. Just like he said, you take the parts and boom, you suddenly have a working computer. Okay, yes, in the case of the computer you do have someone who puts it together, but it doesn't necessarily require someone putting it together. No, it just means that the parts can be more together, you know. And about the computer programming itself business, the same principle applies, you know. The parts can be more than just a computer. If you can get a computer from parts that were basically nothing before that, you can get something more complex, something that could program itself, as he says. And now I'd like to take you on another trip to elucidate the question. So let's say we have those amino acids that can be produced from just chemicals and energy, and they have formed in the primordial soup or whatever, in the seas of the world. And okay, yeah, they're floating all around. Suddenly a few of them get tangled onto each other, and suddenly, boom, together they're more than just amino acids. They become DNA, you know. It's well, in theory it's possible, and I'm not saying it happened exactly like that. I'm not a scientist, and I haven't even gotten into cellular biology as much as I would have liked to. Taking a course on that next year, by the way. But I'm just saying, chance occurrences do happen, and once again the parts can be more put together. And by the way, saying no way, nope, moving on. Well, when it comes to fossil evidence, in what freaking universe do we not have a way to date them? We have several ways. First of all, we have dating them by the layer of ground they are in. And the second one has a little to do with that, since they can be dated by other fossils found near them in the same layers. Also, we have all the different ways to date fossils based on radioactive isotopes, and there are more than one substance which can have those isotopes measured. And before you go thinking in your little heads that that's all wrong, just look into it, please do. And when it comes to comparative anatomy, I'm going to go ahead and bet that the color of my eyes and the color of the eyes of that sweet cat of mine aren't controlled by the same gene either, but we still have the same kinds of eyes. And you see, mutations happen, you know. Still, all beings have those certain similarities that are most visible in fetal stages. I'd suggest looking at those pictures, by the way. They are quite convincing, and well, you can't dispute that just by saying they are controlled by different genes. And furthermore, we don't even know which genes control what yet. We don't have that technology either.